Everyone. Welcome to the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority's second millage and FY 2025 budget public hearing and our regular board meeting for today, September 18th, 2024. Commissioner Peters, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance as we call the meeting to order? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have any, I believe Commissioner Chris Johnson was going to join us by Zoom. Has he joined? Thank you. If you could let me know if he joins while the meeting is in progress, we could vote at that time to have him join. Unless you would want us to vote in advance in case he does join?
No, just wait until he joins.
Okay. All right, thank you. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive public input and allow the public to ask questions concerning the authority's proposed millage rate, proposed operating and capital budget, and proposed service adjustments for fiscal year 2025. Tonight, we'll consider the final millage rate and the final 2025 PSTA FY 2025 budget. Copies of our proposed budget are available if you have not already obtained one. The proposed fiscal year 2025 budget is included herewith, with an operating budget of $123,552,500 and capital budget of $46,098,202. To fund the PSTA operating budget's final millage rate for fiscal year 2025 it is proposed to be 0.7342. The fiscal year 2025 rollback rate is 0.6947. The proposed final 2025 millage rate is 5.69% above the rollback rate. PSTA's millage rate cap is 0.7500. And now for the staff statement for record, our CEO, Brad Miller.
Okay, good evening. This public hearing has been scheduled so the general public may be given the opportunity to comment on the proposed millage rate, budget, and service adjustments for fiscal year 2025. A paid advertisement concerning the public hearing appeared in the Tampa Bay Times on August 14th. Notices were posted at Clearwater Park Street Terminal, Grand Central Station, Williams Park, Pinellas Park Transit Center, PSTA Administrative Headquarters on all PSTA buses on August 14th, and on PSA's website on September 3rd, and an announcement was posted on social media on September 4th. To date, staff has received 11 comments from the public concerning the millage rate and budget, 10 emailed comments that are in your packet, and one comment that we received at the first public hearing.
All right, thank you. And now for the staff presentation. PSTA's Chief Financial Officer, Debbie Laos, will be summarizing the budget. Good evening, Debbie.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chair. So tonight is our second public hearing on the budget. So tonight we have some action items. We will be adopting the final millage rate for PSTA for fiscal 25, along with the final budget for fiscal 25. In this budget, as you just heard the chair mention, our tentative millage rate is 0.7342, which is below our max rate of 0.7500. So we've afforded some taxpayer savings to the community. This budget was put together in a very thoughtful way with a lot of input from all of you, and we really appreciate it. We were able to take a look at our revenues, be very strategic in how we are growing and using our grant revenues, as well as increasing additional revenue sources. We took a look at our expenses, and of course with our bus replacement plan, we're able to save some operating costs. And we are forever looking to find ways to be cost effective while still providing effective and efficient service to our community. The operating budget of $123,552,500 has a surplus in it of $187,920. Some of the key highlights in our budget, and a lot of these ideas came right from this board, were having the 34th Street Spark service that will serve Ecker College, service from Clearwater St. Pete Airport, better known as PI, to the beaches. We're having some tourist service with the Clearwater Ferry, and of course, we are developing funding partnerships throughout the whole process. Our capital budget of $46.1 million includes our receipt of electric buses. And should I give them any spoiler alerts on more buses? So we just took to the board an action item where we will be receiving we're ordering 12 electric buses and 9 hybrid. I have a fantastic grants manager who took a look at things. We were able to shift some things around. We are now able to order at zero cost to PSTA another electric bus, and we cut our contribution to the whole grant in more than half, down from $441,000 to around $203,000. So you'll be seeing that action item come next month. Hate to give spoiler alerts, but that was too exciting.
Nice.
So this year, we also have our Sunrunner improvements that will be completed. Our Flamingo Fairs enhancements, we just got final notice on one piece of it, and that is being able to tap with your debit and credit card and be able to cap out at the max rates, whether it be at a senior citizen rate or the regular rate. So that will be very helpful to our riders. We're going to be starting the construction of the Clearwater Transit Center, as well as starting to implement the solar panels for here at PSTA, and that will help to cut costs as well. So before I get to the final action item, I just wanted to say thank you. This year, I think, has been exceptionally exciting because we held several board workshops. We got all your input. I have to tell you, I'm very appreciative of my coworkers, and Trish Collins from HR, Darren Rice from Planning, as well as Brad and Amanda from Marketing for what they all put together in these workshops. We actually had a lot of fun putting it together and doing it. And then Brad and I went on the circuit this summer. I have been in every corner of Pinellas County, and we really, really enjoyed the time we spent with you, because we see you as board members, but we also got to know you, or at least I did, as the person behind the board member that is influencing what we do as we strategically put together the budget. But last but not least, I want to thank 2 people who may or may not be. I know one person is in the room, but I want to thank Tricia Lewis. She's brand new to us. She's my new budget manager. She came in right in the thick of things. Tricia, give a wave. God love her. She came right at the thick of things and has been helping out Kevin Lai, who is at home with a brand new baby. So both of those 2 people were really the backbone of getting this all put together. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. So again, our action items tonight are to adopt a resolution for the final millage rate and a resolution for the final budget for fiscal '25. With that, I'll turn it back over to the chair.
Thank you. Now for our board discussion, do we have any questions or comments from the board on either the millage rate or the budget? No? Okay, thank you. We will go to public comment. It looks like we have one card that has been turned in so far. And again, this item, what we're doing right now refers to the millage rate and the budget. If you wish to speak on that, on this item, please fill out one of the blue public comment cards and hand it to the front table. Speakers will be recognized in the order in which cards are received.
The yellow's for millage first, and then budget second.
Okay, great. So the first public comment that we'll take up is regarding the millage rate. And at this time, we have one citizen requesting to speak, and that is Max McCann. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. If you could please state your name and address for the record, please.
Certainly. Thank you, Madam Chair. Max McCann, 2648 3rd Avenue South in St. Petersburg. I'd like to start by introducing myself to the board. I'm the new citizen representative from St. Petersburg. I'll be working with the board starting in October, and I'm really looking forward to that. In the meantime, I'm just a lowly citizen, so I stand before you as a taxpayer, encouraging this board to invest in public transit and authorize the maximum millage rate that is proposed here for PSTA for fiscal year 2025. Transit, when done right, can have a lot of positive benefits on society, including reduced pollution, more civic engagement, allowing people who don't drive to participate in society, physical health, safer streets, mental health. It's hard to list them all here. So I think in order to do that, we need to properly fund transit, but we also need to manage it well. And I think the board is doing an excellent job of that, and I look forward to having some contribution to that. I'm really humbled by the decision of St. Pete City Council to select me for the position. And again, looking forward to working with you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Did we have any other requests to speak on the millage rate? All right, we'll move to public comment on the budget. And it looks like we have one speaker, Ari Desard. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that. If you could please state your name and address for the record. And
Yeah, hi, my name is Allie Dysard. I am 305 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Street South in St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm here on behalf of the Environmental Defense Fund. Our state policy office is here in downtown St. Petersburg, and we absolutely love calling St. Pete home. I'm here to say that we would love for you guys to support the 2025 budget and to talk about the electric buses that you have been adopting so far. I think there's about 60 so far and even more coming. When you take a diesel bus off of the road, that's the same as taking about 25 gasoline vehicles off of the road, and then add in all of the passengers that are riding in those buses. It really does make an absolute difference. With St. Pete sitting, kind of on the front line of climate change and flooding and extreme heat and all of those things, we're really, really happy that PST is adopting as many electric buses as they have. I believe the fuel and maintenance cost savings that you're seeing with each bus or 20 buses is about $500,000 a year annually. And so when you do electrify your fleet, you're saving a ton of money. And there's also a ton of tax write-offs and IRS receipts as well that you can get on some of those cost savings. So that's kind of it that I wanted to say. We love PSTA. We love Henry, who's the procurement officer with PSTA. Is amazing. So you guys are doing great things. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Did we have any other citizens requesting to speak on the budget? All right, thank you. We'll close public comment and move on to the adoption of the final FY 2025 millage resolution. I'll entertain.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the final millage resolution. Alan, will you please read the resolution?
So Resolution 2404, a resolution of the Pinellas Suncoast Coast Transit Authority fixing the final millage rate to be levied for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30, 2025, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. And seeing that there's no request for discussion, could we open the voting system, please? Commissioners, please enter your votes. Is that all?
That is it?
All right. Thank you. The motion passes 11-0. All right.
We already got the public comment.
Oh, right. So we've already done our public comment for the budget. And we will go on to adopting our final FY 2025 budget resolution. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the final FY 2025 budget resolution. Alan, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, Resolution 2405, a resolution of the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority adopting the final budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30, 2025, for carrying on the duties and obligations of the authority and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second, and seeing that there's no request for discussion, could we please open the voting system? Commissioners, if you'll please enter your votes. And motion passes 11-0. That will conclude our public hearing for the evening, and now we'll begin our regular monthly board meeting, starting with awards and recognition. First, for a driver recognition will be first. And Greg Bracken, the Director of Transportation, is here to talk about a driver who helped a lost toddler who was walking around alone on US 19.
I think James is going to be giving the intro.
It is James.
Yes.
You don't
Greg's
look-
kept
yeah.
me guessing all day long. So Greg is actually here, but we switched it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, board members. I don't think I've spoken to you all in a while at one of these board meetings. We have actually a feel-good story tonight. We're going to share with you very briefly. Do we have that up and ready to go? Okay. Oh, there it is. So interesting. I'm going to have to try to paint the picture, so I'm going to actually ask you all to maybe theater the mind for you. I would have loved to show you the video or still footage. Our videos are protected. But we have with us Jalil Pachoon, 18-plus year veteran bus operator, and he had an unusual night on August 29th. It was about 9:33 p.m. And I can't do it justice, so I'm going to actually share the microphone with him. We're going to just kind of play off each other for a little bit. So suspend a little bit of disbelief, if you can, with our AI-generated pictures. Route 19. Bus on Route 19, Countryside Boulevard. He's traveling westbound, right? It's about 9:30. And he's coming up on the shoulder. He's got the sidewalk on his right. And he's approaching Countryside Mall. And he's past the bus stops already. So all you see is sidewalk. You got Tires Plus. And now he's kind of creeping up on JCPenney. Out of the glow of the headlights of the bus, you kind of see the pitter-patter of little feet, little socked feet, little baby toddler boy just running, just scampering down the sidewalk. So let me take it from there, Jalil, if you will. So you see this out the corner of your eye. You know something's out of the ordinary. Nobody's around. Just kind of take us through what was going through your mind at that time.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I saw these 2 feet just running down the street on the sidewalk, no supervision, no adults around, so I decided to pull the bus over. And the kid was running in the same direction. As I stopped the bus, he turned around and started running in the other direction. But I couldn't get to the kid because he was so fast. I can't make it. So I said, please stop. And he just turned around. I put my hands out, and he ran and jumped straight on my chest. And I took him into the bus. I informed the relevant authorities, which are my supervisors, and they sent the police and whatever, and they took him away.
So I want to ask you, so the interesting thing there was, and if I watched the video a few times, this kid was running pretty fast down. He's just a little baby toddler boy, socks on his feet, no shoes. And I noticed when you pulled the bus up, I think you tried to pull up far enough so that you could kind of get out and be able to catch him. He starts running the opposite direction.
Yes, sir.
But just we were just talked about this. You were like, I couldn't catch him. Like so you called out, please stop. He did.
Yes.
Jumps into your arms. Now you get on the bus. So from there, you got about 6 or 7 people on the bus at this point. What's going on? What are the passengers thinking? Like, this is quite the atmosphere.
Well, what I told the passengers that we ain't going to leave until the police come, because this is more important than any one of you all reaching home late. So all of them agreed, and they waited with me while the kid was playing. He was very nice. kid, you know, and the police came. That was history.
It was, so 9:33, I think the Clearwater PD showed up about 9:43, so they showed up rather quickly, about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
The one thing you can see in the video is the little boy, after he gets comfortable, he takes a seat. Of course, the seat's too big for him. He jumps up there. Now he's running around the bus, he's jumping on the seats, he's looking at the vents, and he's got, 6 or 7 people. Now he has like 8 adults that are responsible for him. They're interacting with him, they're making sure he's safe, and then the police come on after that. Because we don't have our actual video footage, Lloyd Jernigan, our veteran supervisor, and thank you, Lloyd, for leading the Eckerd students here tonight as well. We kind of took them out, and we tried to recreate the scene a little bit of where it all went down, and what you can't see is Countryside Mall. So last words, so the police come up there, they actually pick up the young little toddler. We already understand he was reunified with his mother. Any final thoughts on that? I mean, it must have been hard to get to sleep that night.
For a couple of nights it was, because, you don't see these things every day. But what I would like to say, PSA teaches us to be aware of our surroundings. If you see something, say something. But I would like to add another line to that. If you can, do something. That's all I would like to add.
Well, I can't say any better than that. I appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Round of applause to you. We have our certificate for you, and we'd like to get a picture with the chair and Brad Miller, if we can. So I just want to say thank you for giving us a little bit of your time tonight. There's so much that goes out there on the road, but just goes to show you again, we're out there to serve the public, but we're the eyes and ears out there in the county too. So just those moments like that, where if we can be a help, and in this case, possibly saved this little boy and got him back to his mother, that's what it's all about. So thank you all very much.
Yes, thank you. Who knows what would have happened if it hadn't been for his good eye and bravery. Great story. Okay. Next, we're going to recognize our outgoing board member, Josh Schulman, for his dedication and service on the PSTA board.
Great. Good evening. Actually, we have 2 PSA board members serving in. Today is their last board meeting. Unfortunately, one, Commissioner Vince Cox, is not here with us tonight, and I know most of you know that he's not doing very well medically lately, and so I hope we all keep him in our prayers. I often say about lots of board members and future board members that I hope someday I get to say this about you too, and to you, Commissioner McCann, in the future, that often what has the biggest impact on PSTA and our service and our organization and our community is not necessarily the actions that happen in this room and from this dais, but the other actions that board members take outside of this meeting time, whether that's in the committees that we have or at events or out in the community. Whatever, and I know, and certainly both Commissioner Cox and Commissioner Schulman, who I'll speak about in a second, did incredible amounts of hard work during their time on PSTA. First, Commissioner Cox, as you all know, Commissioner Cox has served on PSTA since 2018, and he, because of his background, he was a real advocate on the PSA board for people with disabilities and PSA access services. And that was his passion. That's what he did for his career before retiring. And he really did a lot of work outside of the meetings to help us improve our PSA access service. And I'm so proud, and a lot of it has to do with Commissioner Cox, that in a comparison of cities that are in our benchmarking group, PSA access customers rank PSTA #1 in customer satisfaction for our access services over any other city. And a lot of that has to do with the work that Commissioner Cox put into that program by participating in interviews with vendors, to our pre-bid conferences, to having meetings in here. That was really his passion. Now, Commissioner Schulman, would you like to join me up here? Well, Commissioner Schulman has done the same thing. I don't think there's any PSA board member that doesn't know Commissioner Schulman's opinion on every topic that ever comes up to a PSA meeting, whether it's in committee or board. Maybe not everyone always agrees with 100% of what he says, but everyone, he is very thoughtful and always has something really good to say that I think we all learn from. And just multiply that by like 100 if you think of all of the monthly one-on-one phone calls that he and I have had back and forth, where he has taught me so much, had lots of interesting ideas, half of which he then harasses me that I seem to not do anything with, but other ideas have had a huge impact on PSTA, and the one that I think has had the most impact is our partnership with Pinellas County Schools. Commissioner Schulman has been tireless at working with Pinellas County Schools District and any avenue he can get with the school district to start with our UPass agreement that we have now with them for the last couple of years, where they're paying us for their students and faculty to ride the bus. But he is a one-man marketing group with different school groups. He has constantly come up with different ideas on how we can reach the students and the teachers and advocate not just to ride the bus to and from school, but how they can use the bus for other purposes. He came up with a great idea to not necessarily go to the school board, but go to the parents, because they are maybe a little less distracted, maybe, with transportation. And so Commissioner Schulman even got up, I think at 7:30 on a Saturday, and went to a PTA meeting to talk to parents about the relationship and how they can ride the bus, not just to school, but to jobs and to basketball practice afterwards and stuff like that. So I want to thank him for that. Now, as you look in the ridership reports, and I know next month you'll see September when school started again, we are carrying hundreds of thousands of students and teachers to and from schools all over the county. And so that is a huge testament to Josh's time. Some exciting news. Of course, we provide all board members with a lifetime bus pass. Josh is the first one to get a Flamingo lifetime pass. And so each of you will get this. And then we have a lovely monument thing. And so, Commissioner Schulman, would you like to say a few words?
All right. You guys don't want to hear from me. You've heard from me before. That's been pointed out. So I would just like to point out my first day on the board, this room was packed. I mean, seriously, standing room only. And I thought, oh my God, they're all here to welcome me to PSTA. We were voting on the Jolly Trolley contract, and so that's why they were here. But come on, we're only halfway full. I think the room's telling me it might be time to go. So no, I appreciate the opportunity that the St. Pete City Council has afforded me. I trust that the St. Pete citizen seat is in very good hands going forward, and maybe I'll be back for my 3 minutes sometime in the future. Thank you.
Oh, me? thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Schulman, again, for your years of service on this board. I'd also like to give out my thanks, my gratitude, and best wishes to Commissioner Cox. It's unfortunate that he could not be here today, but I imagine he'll be receiving some accolades as well.
He will.
All right, fantastic. Well, next we'll move on to our public comment. This is public comment for consent agenda items or items that are not on the agenda. For that, if you could please fill out a green card and get it to the staff sitting at the front table here. Speakers will be recognized in the order in which cards were received. Looks like I have 2 here. Any others? All right. The first speaker is Jonas Chisholm. Good evening.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm not used to public speaking, so just bear with me. I'll be brief. I want to read this to you. I'm here in regards to the number 11 bus route. This service, it services Lakeview Terrace and Crystal Lake Manors, and it's a 55 and over community. And it will cease to run October 6th. And the residents there are not very happy with this decision. There are working people there. There are people that are physically disabled there. We don't have access other than that to get where we need to go. Now, you have proposed to us to use Lyft and Uber and United Taxi. But in the end, that's more money out of our pockets because we're gonna have to pay for the rest of that ride. You're offering us $5 off, Direct Connect. But we have to pay for the rest of it. We have a perfectly good system there. I mean, we love you guys for that because the shelters are there. The bus stops are right there. We can walk out our doors, get on a bus, and go where we need to go. And we just think that removing that is going to take away our independence. There are still working people there. We need this route to stay where it is. Because now, anytime we want to leave, we've got to call one of these entities to get where we're going. And if I want to leave 2 or 3 times a day, I got to keep calling Uber. That's a lot of money. We don't have, we're retirees and people living on, next to nothing. Do appreciate the fact that you're there, that the service is there, but you have no idea the problems this is going to cause. I mean, long range, there are people still moving in that don't have vehicles. Now, granted, there are a lot of vehicles there, but I'm just saying, we're asking you to press pause on this, please, and look at this again before you just shut us down like that. Just take a look at it again, even downsize, give us a mid-sized bus or something. But just to take that service away, it's something that we all depend on. And we'd like to keep it that way.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, if you, Darden Rice is right there, and if she could get down your information and talk to you, I think we'll definitely look at it again.
Please.
See, yeah,
That's all we're asking.
okay,
Thank you.
yeah. Chris, your gratitude, okay, good.
And the next speaker is Max McCann. Hello again.
Hi again. Max McCann, 2648 3rd Avenue South. While I'm here, I understand the county commission will be appointing its citizen representative to this board tomorrow. So for those of you who are on the county commission, I'd ask you to please support the candidacy of Gloria Lepic Corrigan. I understand that she's a frequent writer of the PSTA and can give us helpful insight that way. And also as a user with disabilities, I think she could really provide some valuable information to us about how to make this transit service even better than it already is. Thank you again. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. The next speaker is Jesse Sherry.
Jesse Sherry, 2300 3rd Avenue South, 33713. I'm a professor of environmental studies at Eckerd College, and a few of my students are here today with us. First I wanted to thank you. We recently kind of learned about the Spark service and the Express service that would be running down 34th and hopefully stopping at Eckerd. And I think that will really allow our students to have much better access to the city and to kind of all the services that it's hard to, we often talk about the Eckerd bubble. We're kind of out there, so it's nice to have a greater connection to the city. And I just also generally want to appreciate the Sunrunner and the move towards electric buses. There's been a lot of improvement. My family, we happen to live near one of the Sunrunner stops, and already it's a way to get downtown for events. It's a way to do things, and we really appreciate the kids really love riding on the bus. They think it's very entertaining. And just, in general, I really appreciate the move towards a cleaner and kind of more thoughtful service of the city. And I mean, obviously the person before us is worried about losing their bus route, and I know it's very tricky. And so I appreciate you all taking the time to really think through how to serve the community as well as possible. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Any other speakers? All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and close public comment, and we'll move on to our consent agenda. Are there any items that any board member wishes to pull on the consent agenda? Commissioner Schulman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't necessarily want to pull any item, but I just have a comment about one of the items that came up during the committee meeting this morning, if now's a good time for that.
Okay.
So we were talking about the risk management and insurance, and actually Commissioner Eggers brought up a good point, that our buses themselves are not insured. I realize the greater risk to the agency is through the liability and injury, but Brad gave an example that was a bit concerning, that if we had a fire here at the bus depot and 7, 8, 9 of our buses were engulfed in that, we would be on the hook for the replacement of those buses. So, and with the new electrics coming in, and the quantity of electrics coming in, and the difficulty in putting out fires if they should happen with those systems, I think, while it's not necessarily covered in these points, that should be something that we need to start looking into to make sure that we have, whether it's fire suppression things in place, not necessarily insurance, but making sure that we're that was a contingency I hadn't thought about. And after he mentioned it, it was, I think it's something we should think about as we're trying to protect those assets going forward, so we don't have 60 electric burning buses on the side lot and no insurance or anything to cover that. So I just wanted to mention that came up through the meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And yes, I think especially as we move toward buying different kinds of vehicles like electric buses, that, protecting that property is, it's important that we stay current and make sure that we have the best tools available to protect that property.
I'm sure, I know that Henry's got a plan for that, and he would love to present to the Finance Committee an update, and we'll give you a special invite to that presentation by Henry.
I saw it on my calendar.
It's still on his calendar. All right, thank you. Any other, Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's a good point. I mean, I had brought that up years ago in the Finance Committee as well, and ensuring, $1.5 million electric buses for physical damage would be massively expensive to do that, as would the loss be of having them not insured if we had 10 of them burned down. So it's something that's worth looking at. I can tell you, kind of in the private sector, with insurance rates being as high as they are right now, typically, what you see a lot of times is you just really only insure buses to the extent that you have any debt on them. And the rest of, like in my fleet, that's typically what I'll do, is just insure it for whatever the debt you have, and then you just kind of fly, self-insure on the rest of it, because it's just gotten to be so expensive to do that.
Yeah.
Just some perspective on it. But I'd be very curious to see the plan that Henry has.
Thank you, and I appreciate your insight. This is one of the reasons it's great to have you on the board, is that you have that real knowledge that you can share with us. So I look forward to hearing more. Any others who wish to speak on this item? Otherwise, I entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. And seeing that there's no further request for discussion, could we open the voting system, please? Commissioners, please enter your votes. And the motion passes 11-0. Thank you. Now, we'll go to our committee updates, and we'll start with the track update from Mark O'Hara, followed by Patty Reed with the local coordinating board report, and then I will give the Ford Pinellas report. Good evening, Mark.
All right, good evening, Chair Driscoll, Mr. Miller, and board members. Track met in person yesterday. Quick turnaround. The committee enjoyed a comprehensive and exceptionally informative presentation on PSTA's bus fleet and all things electric and hybrid from Director of Maintenance, Henry Lukasik. The presentation was requested by the committee members last month, and Mr. Lukasik did an outstanding job breaking down complicated matters into language and examples that were really easy for us to follow. The recording of the track meeting can be found on the PSTA website on the same page as you can find our meetings and agendas. If you would like to go back and rewatch it, we do highly recommend doing so. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, October 22nd on Zoom at 4 p.m. In this meeting, we will become a focus group and speak with the developers of PSTA's new website. As always, you're welcome to attend. Thank you, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? All right.
Thank you. I look forward to
Mark.
seeing some of you tomorrow at the Board of Commissioners meeting.
All right. Commissioner Reed, you have the local coordinating board report.
Thank you. The local coordinating board, LCB, met yesterday in downtown Clearwater. The LCB reviewed and approved changes to the Transportation Disadvantaged Service Plan and made plans to conduct the annual evaluation of PSTA as the Community Transportation Coordinator, CTC. The LCB agreed to approve the annual operating report, AOR, following email distribution tomorrow. Staff with Neighborly gave a presentation updating members about their services, including the transportation challenges with older vehicles. The LCB then received an update on Advantage Pinellas Long-Range Transportation Plan, PSTA fare changes, and TD Tampa Bay. The next LCB meeting will take place on November the 19th at 9:15 a.m. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions on that? All right, and for the Forward Pinellas report, the Forward Pinellas board met last on September 11th, 2024. The board approved multiple land use amendments, including one change on First Avenue South near Pasadena Avenue from institutional to residential medium. The density increase will allow for redevelopment at a density that complements the Sunrunner. Forward Pinellas will be seeking a specialized consultant aimed at supporting the establishment of a regional metropolitan planning organization. The TMA Leadership Group, which I'm a part of, will review the scope and discuss the role of smaller cities at its September 20th meeting. The board received a presentation on the draft cost feasibility plan that will be part of the Advantage Pinellas 2050 long-range transportation plan. The board approved a nominating committee to meet to vote on new officers for the board. And the board also received a presentation on the Affordable Housing Regulatory Toolkit as part of the Advantage Pinellas Housing Action Plan. The toolkit includes model regulations and strategies that any local government can use based on what fits their community. The next regular Forward Pinellas board meeting will be held on October 9th, 2024, and I'm happy to answer any questions on that. No? Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Peters.
I mentioned this to Whit yesterday. When I was in Vancouver last week, they have a designated bus lane just like Sunrunner does. But what they do with theirs, because the congestion is so bad, is it's a transit lane. So every Uber, taxi, black car uses that lane, and it takes them out of the congestion of the regular lane, and it makes it truly a transit lane. I mentioned it to Whit. I think it's worth bringing up at the meeting. If he doesn't, I think it's worth bringing up in the meeting. I think that would utilize that lane efficiently and effectively and could ensure, as the future as there's more development, less bottlenecks in the regular lanes. So making it a true transit lane, then it's used every minute of the day versus every 15 minutes. And I think it's a good concept that would be good to replicate here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's where, and you say that that's actually implemented in Vancouver right now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I will.
And
study
when we
that.
were using an Uber, the regular traffic was backed up so bad, but the transit vehicles could move very swiftly right through the congestion. So, so it really was an effective transit lane for all modes. Regular traffic was still backed up as it was, but had those vehicles been in the regular traffic, the backup would have been significantly worse. But it did allow any transit vehicle to really move efficiently and effectively. So I just think it's something for Ford Pinellas to think about using on single bus lanes so that it could be used every minute of the day versus every 15 minutes. So something to think about.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. All right, good. Now we'll go ahead to our action items, starting with item 7A, our CEO evaluation. Trish Collins, PSTA's HR Director, will go over PSTA's evaluation process and recommended compensation adjustment for Brad Miller. Hi, Trish.
Hi, good evening, Chair Driscoll and our distinguished board members. I'm Trish Collins, the Director of Human Resources, and I'm here to present the item on the CEO's evaluation and to bring forward the unanimous recommendation from the Executive Committee to approve a 3% merit adjustment for our CEO, Brad Miller. This 3% adjustment recommendation is consistent, in fact, exactly the same as the performance evaluation process and merit adjustment rate for all of PSTA's administrative non-bargaining unit employees. All administrative employees, including our CEO, have a year-end performance evaluation that consists of two parts. One is the score that's earned by achieving set defined goals on the Performance Counts scorecard. You can think of that as what was accomplished. The second part is an evaluation from their manager, or in this case, the board, on how the work was accomplished, which includes, for example, your assessment on how the CEO communicates with you, the consideration and judgment that he uses in his decisions, and his ability to achieve the outcomes and the priorities of the agency, and other factors which you scored on the evaluation. So all administrative employees' performance evaluations consist of these two parts, and the scores combined together. For CEO Miller, as you see on the screen, he earned a 20.4 out of a maximum of 25 points based on your evaluations, and a 71.3 out of 75 for the goal achievements on PSTA's Performance Counts scorecard. So together, that is a 91.7 out of 100. For all administrative employees, the budget that was just approved includes a merit adjustment of 3% for employees who score a 90 or higher on their performance evaluations. So to close, the unanimous recommendation from the Executive Committee is to approve the same 3% merit adjustment for CEO Miller as for other administrative employees with his qualifying score of 91.7 points. I'll turn the item back over to the chair for any discussion.
Thank you. Questions from the board? No? Oh, Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Brad, did you receive an increase last year?
No.
Okay, that was, I just wanted to confirm that. That was what I thought. I am supportive of this for two reasons. One, there was no increase last year, and then also, Brad, you've been a lot more open to suggestions and implementing things this year, and I appreciate that very much. Going through the form itself, I felt was a little awkward in terms of the way I review somebody in that position in my business. This was more about communication and diversity and equity, where in my mind, it's more about how the agency actually performs in terms of, budget, safety, maintenance, employee turnover, those sorts of things. So, I know we have the employee scorecard, but that's not what we were really asked to grade them on. So I would just encourage, I don't know if it's the executive committee that looks at that or which committee that looks at that, but kind of going forward, if we just sort of reevaluate the form and actually how we're grading the CEO. So, thank you.
Thank you. Could we make a note of that so that when that's discussed for the next round, the committee will take that into consideration? I think those are really good points. Commissioner Peters.
I want to concur and thank you for having him take notes, because I think, I mentioned it earlier when the mayor had suggested he didn't like this. I didn't like the form. I just didn't think it was a good form for his performance. So I agree with that. And what I would say is Commissioner Scott suggested that he supports this. He didn't make a motion. If that was a motion, I was going to second it.
I'll make that motion.
So I was just going to second that, so
All
thank
right,
you.
great. We have a motion and a second. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? No? Oh, Commissioner Eggers.
Yeah, so I totally agree with the comment about the assessment form. I'd like to see a little bit more, a little broader approach to the review criteria. So, but I will say, and I agree with Debbie on the issue of the budget this year. I really thought it was great that we had the workshops and we had a chance to just roll up our sleeves and, agree to agree or agree to disagree on things and try to change some directions. And so I thought that was really good, and I hope we see more of that, because I think there's some really critical things coming up that we need to get our thoughts, and up here just isn't, I don't like this environment to do a lot of that work. We can do that in workshop form and then bring it here. So, thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Saraki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Brad, I just want to say that I am grateful for all the education that you've given me over the years. I was a little disappointed last year when you didn't get your raise, but I definitely support you this year. And I just want to say thank you for all you do for PSTA, your employees, and this board. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this item. Seeing that there's no further requests for discussion, could we open the voting system, please? Commissioners, if you'll please enter your votes. And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next is the Greyhound license agreement. This is an item to renew an agreement with Greyhound, and James Bradford, our Chief Operations Officer, is going to take us through this item. Welcome back to the mic.
Thank you.
Mr.
Glad to be
Bradford.
back here. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll take you all through this briefly. This was presented earlier today at the Finance Committee, and essentially it's just seeking your approval for a 5-year extension to our with our partnership with Greyhound. It essentially, the license agreement and the easement amendment, just a legal interest that that PSA holds with its property over at Shops at Park Place, as managed by KB Parkside of Shops at Park Place. We started talking to Greyhound, I think, in November of 2018, discussing the possibilities of where in the county can we kind of double up and share space so that all of our customers are served. We decided on Shops at Park Place, right behind kind of that Target and the movie theater there on that area off of 70th Street. And it's just been fantastic for the last 5 years. This has given all of our patrons and customers more options. All of our buses that kind of come through there and connect to the different routes. So imagine you can kind of come to Shops at Park Place and, you can take one of our PSTA bus routes. And if you want to go to Orlando, do you want to go to Sarasota? Do you want to go directly to Tampa? You can even get to Miami in 5 or 6 hours if you want with a connection, all the way up north to Jacksonville. So Greyhound serves a lot of these cities. It has come time to renew. We were going back and forth a little bit, so we're later than we wanted. We wanted to bring this to you last month. But if you approve this today, seeking your approval, I believe it was unanimously approved earlier today at the Finance Committee, it will allow us to extend this partnership and this agreement with very few terms that have changed through August 29th, I believe, 2029, August 28th, 2029. As I cycle through some of the slides, this is from the ribbon cutting that we had with Greyhound back 5 years ago, where we had the buses out and we had a nice big event, and you'll probably notice a lot of familiar faces in here. And we did some press and media. So I would say so far so good. It's been really it's done really well for both parties, I believe, involved. And the one thing I can also tell you is, even though the terms and conditions didn't change too much, we did increase our license fee, our monthly license fee. It used to be $1,667. Now it's about $1,792. So additional unique ways that PSA has been able to kind of pull in revenue, or generating revenue as well. But all in all, this has been a great partnership, and excited to kind of keep it going for both Greyhound's customers and PSAs as well. And with that, I'll stop it there and take any questions you all may have.
All right. Thank you. Any questions from the board? Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? No? Okay.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this item. Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am going to abstain on this vote because my company has a relationship with the parent company that owns Greyhound. We don't have anything at all to do with what's being voted on at all today. And I consulted with the county attorney and felt that it likely was not a conflict, because it is very arm's length, but just out of abundance of caution, I'm going to abstain.
All right. Thank you. All right, seeing that there's no request for discussion, could we open the voting system, please? Commissioners, please enter your votes. And the motion passes unanimously, 10-0, with Commissioner Scott abstaining.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, sir. Next, item 7C, the appointment to the Ford Pinellas Board. This is our last action item of the day. This is regarding appointing a member of the PSTA Board to the Ford Pinellas Board. And Brad, will you please take us through this item?
Yes. So Whit Blanton, the executive director of Ford Pinellas, notified me that although the PSTA board approved last month the interlocal agreement that all members, all jurisdictions that have a board seat on Ford Pinellas had to approve, now that the reapportionment plan has been approved. We also, Whit called me and said that we had to appoint name a board member for 2025. So this action item, because our nominating committee doesn't happen to meet until Friday, the deadline that Whit said was October 7th, and I think maybe some of you who serve on other boards are also having to take this up pretty quickly. So although the nominating committee meets on Friday, we would not be able to bring this back to you for an approval at the October meeting, so we're bringing it to you now. Commissioner Saraki is the only name that has been turned in as interested in serving on the Ford Pinellas Board in 2025. So the action item is simply to extend the current appointee of PSTA to Ford Pinellas, which is the chair, Gina Driscoll, until the end of this calendar year, December 31st, 2024, and then to appoint Vice Chair Dan Saraki to the Ford Pinellas Board beginning on January 1st of 2025.
Thank you. So just to add to that, it means that I would continue to serve as PSTA's representative on Ford Pinellas through the end of this year. With the expansion of the Ford Pinellas Board, the city of St. Petersburg, because of the percentage of our population for Pinellas County, is going to have 2 additional seats representing St. Petersburg on that board, and I have requested to take one of those seats effective in January. I truly enjoy serving on Ford Pinellas, even the really geeky stuff, and I want to continue to do that. But for a couple of reasons, including making sure that there aren't too many St. Pete people on the Ford Pinellas board, I offered to shift over to take one of those St. Petersburg seats. Those will be effective in January, so there would be no interruption in my service on Ford Pinellas. It just changes which seat I am in. So I am completely supportive of this, and very supportive of Vice Chair Saraki taking the PSTA seat. I believe he will serve this board very well as that representative. Do we have any questions on this item or any discussion? All right, do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approval of this appointment.
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second for this, for the appointment of the PSTA member of the Ford Pinellas Board. Seeing that there's no request for discussion, could we open the voting system, please? Commissioners, please enter your votes. And the motion passes unanimously.
Madam Chair, I just want to thank the board members. I look forward to being a member of the Ford Pinellas Board and reporting back to you at every monthly meeting that we have, our board meeting. But I just want to thank you for your support, and I really do appreciate PSTA, and I look forward to the new adventure educational experience. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I know you'll serve us well. All right, we will now go to our reports and correspondence as well as future meeting subjects. Brad, would you like to give us an update on this?
Yes. First of all, thank you very much for your support earlier. I very much appreciate it, and I concur with Commissioner Eggers. I really thought that the opportunity to have the workshops and then the individual meetings with all 15 board members with you to ostensibly talk about the budget, but we talked about a lot of other things too, and I thought that was really worthwhile process. And of course, it's all thanks to the great team that I have, Debbie and everybody that makes PSTA very successful. Just a couple of things to identify. In your packet is the ridership reports and the other data that you will soon be seeing a lot more of starting next month when we start unveiling the community bus plan to the board, and that will really be the start of what we hope will be at least about a 6-month process before we kind of delve into the details and then come back next spring with an approval, and then the implementation would not be until about a year from now, October 1st of 2025. So just stay tuned for that. Debbie mentioned it, but I want to mention it again. We are excited to, for the first time, offer our growing, and if you see the numbers in the stats, it's really growing, number of people choosing to pay on the buses by just tapping their debit or credit card. No longer need to figure out the bus pass or anything like that. You just use your credit card that's in your wallet and then, or debit card, and tap it, and you can pay. Starting October 1st for seniors and people with disabilities and veterans and other people that get discounts, up till now, Debbie's been kind of happy because all those seniors and tourist people that are doing that are paying full price because your credit card does not know your age. But now, thanks to our new technology, you can go and show your ID to a PSDA customer representative, and then they will log your credit card in, so then you'll get the half-price discount. If you keep using that credit card then to ride the bus, or if you're a veteran, then you can ride for free, or whatever. So that I think that'll be very helpful for our seniors, especially. And then finally, at your places, so fiscal year 2025, October 1st, 2024 starts PSDA's 40th year anniversary. And to kick that off, and I don't even know all of the exciting marketing department things that are planned for the year. We've got a few ideas. We will be having a little celebration event down in St. Petersburg at this Trail Garden at St. Petersburg Distillery on Friday, October 4th. You're all invited, and that place was chosen because that place is either on or immediately adjacent to the former original PSDA St. Petersburg bus garage before PSDA was created 40 years ago. There used to be a St. Petersburg City Department that ran the bus system down there, and then there was a Clearwater version, and the bus facility there. Over the years, some of you might remember, we've had some environmental problems down there, but there's also now a restaurant apparently there, so you're all invited. You guys, I was not really joking with Diane back there, our risk manager, about that earlier, but please join me at that.
I would really like the marketing team to talk with Brad a little bit about how to promote.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Thanks. I just don't even know what else to say. I'll be there. Yeah. Thanks, I'm kidding. Did you have anything else for us?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, great. Do we have any other business to discuss this evening? Any comments from any board members? All right, the next meeting will be October 30th.
Wait.
Oh, yes, Commissioner Fig Sanders.
Thank you. I just also wanted, on behalf of the City of St. Petersburg, to publicly thank Commissioner Shulman and for the fantastic job that you've done in representing the City of St. Petersburg on this board. And we do hope that you will come and take your 3 minutes, that you will stay in tune with what is going on, since you have done such a fantastic job of that. But I did want to make sure to acknowledge the appreciation on behalf of the Chair of the St. Petersburg City Council. And we do plan on you staying involved. That's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Our next meeting will be October 30th at 9 a.m. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. So